So, in case you didn't know this about me, I am old. Just had a birthday. I've added one more year to my age. But when you're old like me, one of the things that means is my video games are also old. The video games I grew up with are not like I was born in a world where like Xbox and PlayStation was like 10 years away from even being a dream. Like, this is what my controllers looked like while I'm sitting here playing some Mario Golf, which I haven't played in years, because like in my house I have a Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis and a Nintendo 64, all these old video games that like haven't been around for years. And the biggest difference between video games when I was growing up and video games today is, you didn't have all these worlds that you could explore. Every level, for the most part, you would start on one side and you would just go all the way to the next. And you're just trying to finish levels and levels and levels and beat all the bad guys. And if you were playing Mario, you'd try to jump on the Koopas and you'd try to beat Bowser in the final boss battle. And that was what video games were. Like, the job was to get from one level to a level to a level to a level. Which sounds easy enough, except they were so hard. It was really complicated to play video games when I was a kid because you had like one chance. And the thing was, if you didn't beat a level, you usually had to start from the very beginning. And so you would know where like the places were for extra lives or power-ups, and you'd always get those. But if you were going through a level and you knew you needed a power-up and you didn't get it, well, you had two options. One, you could just fail for the rest of the level until you inevitably died and you started from the beginning. Or you could just say, like, screw it, I'm going to start totally fresh. And on all of those old video game systems were two buttons on the front. There was a power button to turn it on and off. And then right next to it is a restart button, where you would just get to start a whole video game fresh. And it was really good if you had like a checkpoint where you could start back from like the last place you were, but it was a way to just totally start fresh if you know and knew that you had gone the wrong way. Sometimes our lives are like old video games. Like, sometimes we just need a fresh start. Like, we got going on the right path, but then like we lost our way. Maybe it's choices we've made or things we've done or things that have been done to us. Things that have hurt us, or ways we've hurt other people. And the story of Jesus is the story of a God who gives us fresh starts. At this time of year, we celebrate this thing called Lent. It's like the lead up to Easter. And Easter is this moment where we celebrate that God sent his son Jesus to live among us, to teach us what it meant to follow God, and then who died and was raised from life 3 days later. And the Bible tells us that as Jesus was raised from the dead, one of the things that did is it brings us new life. That we have a God who doesn't stop when death happens, when hard things happen, but we have a God who takes dead things and brings them back to life. A God who brings hurt things, damaged things, broken things, and makes them brand new. The guy who wrote a lot of the New Testament, his name is Paul. He wrote it this way. He said in the book of 2 Corinthians, he said, "So then if anyone is in Christ, that person is part of the new creation. The old things have gone away, and look, new things have arrived." It's like Paul is saying that it doesn't matter what you've been going through, how you've been hurting. If you are in Jesus, like, you get a fresh start. It doesn't matter what decisions you've made, what mistakes you've made, you are new. And if you're anything like me, like, I need that kind of a fresh start in my life. I need a reset button because I'm not perfect. I haven't lived a perfect life. I haven't always made the right choices. A lot of times I wish I had done things better. I've hurt people. I've made bad decisions. But the truth is, with Jesus, we all just get a do-over. Yes, you are probably not perfect in the same way that Spoiler alert, I'm not perfect either. There are a lot of things in my life that I need a do-over for. But what I do know is that in Jesus we get that do-over. We get that restart button. It's where God says to us, I don't care who you've been, I still love you anyways. So tonight in Quarters, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the God who does fresh starts. The God who says, yeah, I see all your stuff, and I love you anyways. And we're going to explore what that means in our everyday lives.